What is your most privileged information? What are you least likely to share with someone?
Share it with us now.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to allow people from the audience to ask a couple of questions?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because I feel pretty good, but this is the time when I do a reveal that people are like, why didn't you ask this question? Or like, why aren't you blah, blah, blah. So if you're willing to do that, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So don't forget name and type, but I'm gonna come around with the microphone. Raise your hand, I'll come over to you.
Hi, Rebecca. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Leslie. My question is, what is your relationship to your feelings?
To my feelings? I'm a very emotional person, but I don't always know why I feel the way that I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I need other people to help me with that.
So the lead ENTJ, coming back to the question about the basic need and, you know, have you eaten, drank something?
Yeah.
That's obvious. Is it obvious to you that maybe you haven't drank or eaten something?
Not always.
Okay. Thank you.
Who else over here? Well, let me grab that a different way.
Alon, ENFJ. How easy is it for you to remember things that happened last week, or to go back to memories from the past?
I don't have the best memory. Last week, I can usually, just because it might take me a little bit to come up with something, but typically I can. But I would describe myself as maybe not having the best memory.
Over here.
Caitlin, OJT. What is the most persistent part of yourself?
The most persistent part of myself? I don't know what that means.
Persistent. When do you keep going, even in the face of like obstacles, like you
Through-
will pursue and persist past barriers? Is that what you mean?
No.
okay.
Throughout your life, what is the most persistent, like you, that is you?
So what is the most, what has
Consistent,
continually showed up as you, the core of who you are, no matter what the context? Is that what you're asking? Is that more close to it? Yeah.
I don't really know how to answer that. The me that has showed up my whole life. I guess just trying to be a good person, do my best. That's probably what it is do my best. Yeah.
Perfect. Anyone else?
Up here.
Right here? Yeah. A couple up here in the front. Name and type.
Jennifer, EP. So when you mentioned about the critical voice, is it always critical about yourself, or do you critical about others? What would that be?
It is more critical about myself, but I do have a tendency to think critically of others too.
And what does that look like?
I have to catch it. Just like my own critical voice, I have to catch it and be like, no, they're doing the best that they can. I don't necessarily verbalize that part of it. It's more of just an inner like, if that makes sense.
Very good. Right here, name and type.
Lou, ENFP. Earlier you said you like to get goofy.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you?
I do like to just sort of be silly about things, and especially because parts of my job are very serious, so I do kind of just like to I sometimes in the earrings that I wear, or some of the hobbies that I have, or being the cheerleader at the kids' baseball games. It doesn't bother me to kind of just be goofy.
Over here.
Mike, ENTP. I have a question about food.
Okay.
Do you like cooking for your family, or who cooks in your family?
I do the majority of the cooking.
You enjoy doing it?
I enjoy cooking some things. Like I'm really good at making spaghetti sauce. And if I have a nice long Sunday where I don't have a whole lot to do, like I'll enjoy making a big pot of sauce. But I wouldn't say that cooking is something I really enjoy doing. It's more of a necessity.
If somebody else would cook for you, would you enjoy that?
Would I have to be there and watch them?
No.
like if they made me something,
if you
sure.
If you didn't have to cook. you'd be
Well,
okay.
I'm also really picky about some of the foods that I eat, but I would really appreciate the effort for sure. Yeah.
Keep going here. Got a couple more questions over here. Name and type for us.
Major ENTJ. I think this is a hard question, but I want to ask it. What is one thing about life that you value so much that if it was taken away from you, you would probably crumble or prefer to die?
Love. Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Sarah, ENTP. So if you were if someone were introducing a new person in the group, and they were like directing that person, who to go to for what, what would they say? Oh, go to Rebecca for.
People come to me for, if you don't know something, go to her. I'm the kind of the catch-all. Or if I don't know something, then I'll direct you to the right person.
And is that more like in a resource kind of way, or is that more in a come cry on my shoulder?
I would say more resource way. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, I got a couple more here. I'm coming to you next. Come back here first. Over here. Name and type for us.
Zachary, ISTP. Thank you for sharing so much and being so vulnerable with us. How many people would you say you have in your life who really have seen the real you, who really you've opened up, you've shared your most ugly thoughts with, and they haven't walked away from you and they just continue to embrace you? Like, how big is that list?
That's a really good question. And I would say very small, and not because they have walked away, but because I don't necessarily share that.
Very good. Cool. Over here, name and type for us.
Zeta, ENTJ.
You're good. You can sit normal. You're good.
What are you like? What sort of behavior do you find yourself exhibiting when you're being challenged? Like when you find something's at stake?
That's really a great question. I get stressed out really easily, and then I can be mean. I can be a version of myself that I don't like.
Okay. Do you, if you don't mind me expanding a little bit, do you find that you go into like doer mode? Or do you find that you go more into like contemplative or planning mode when that happens? When you're trying to figure out a challenge, like when you have a challenge?
Doer mode.
Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else? Go around. Oh, up here. One more question. Yeah. All right. Name and type again for us.
Sarah, ENTP. What is your most privileged information? What are you least likely to share with someone?
Share it with us now.
In
front of the group.
Not what is the single most specific fact, but is there
no,
a
I get
theme
that.
to the kind
Like
of
the topic,
information?
right? You're saying the topic.
I guess innermost feelings would be that. Is that?
I'm thinking, like feelings versus thoughts, for instance. Is one of those.
I would say
privileged.
feelings.
More, okay.
Yeah, like real raw feelings.
Like
probably.
unprocessed. Let me just dump it.
Yeah.
Not so much. Okay.
And then in that same vein, I guess I've got a kind of a final question here for you guys. Wrap up this part, Antonia. Is this are you a little bit out of your comfort zone in that you're having to share all of those things with a group of people? Like you'd rather be the person asking the questions or listening.
Yes,
than maybe the person
100%.
that's being like studied.
Yes.
It's a little bit uncomfortable. Or
it's a little bit uncomfortable.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You have no, and that's not because you have like stage fright or a fear in front of cameras or anything like
It's
that.
the vulnerability.
It's
sure.
what we're actually asking.
Yeah.
You're cool getting up in front. It's
Yeah.
more the subject matter.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Anything else? All right.
Okay. I do have a follow up to the question about what you mentioned that you don't have that great of a memory.
Yeah.
What's your relationship to your memories from the past?
Well, I have a really bad habit of like forgetting about certain people. Like I live in the town that I grew up in, and seeing somebody and like I can't totally place them. But things that I have valued, I have great memories of, and I can recall them pretty well. So things that are important to me that I value, I have a lot of memories around. It's more of the things that maybe I didn't put a lot of thought into that I'm just like, not remember anything about that person.
Yeah. So things that you value, like moments that you value, like, or when you say things that I value, I have a good memory for, what are those things?
holidays spent, like nostalgic time spent with people, the people that I love, obviously.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation in the hallway about in the 3rd grade, we put on this play for 2 weeks, and that was one of my favorite memories of the third grade, which was one of my favorite years. And I remember very specific things about that, but I couldn't tell you the other stuff that didn't matter.
Sure. Yeah. Those moments. And when you think about that play that you were in 3rd grade, like, is it pretty? Like, is it one of those memories you like to go back and revisit from time to time?
Sure.
Yeah. And can you remember it pretty well? Like, do you kind of remember what you were wearing?
Parts of it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What you were wearing, was it like one of those cute little like singing?
It was Wizard of Oz. And I was Dorothy. So I was wearing.
Oh yeah, so you got the leading role.
I can remember the people, some of the people that were in other things too.
Yeah. And when you say holidays, you mean like like the most recent holidays, or do you also remember holidays from when you were younger?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What was your favorite holiday?
Christmas Eve at my grandparents' house, because all my cousins would come, and it was just the best day of the year.
Yeah. And was there can you paint a picture?
Yeah, I mean, the anticipation of knowing that something really fun was going to happen, and then like the Christmas music that would be on the radio and the drive to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and then getting there and all the aunts and uncles and cousins, and again that anticipation of we're going to have presents, and the food, and I remember the chipmunk Christmas music thing. I thought we would do dances to that, and and just that feeling of everybody is having a great time, and
yeah. And do you try to replicate that for your children?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And what do you do in order to like?
I try to make traditions and come up with things that they're going to remember, and I try to make little things special for sure. Yeah, that's important to me.
Yeah. And is there anything that you've like passed down? Like, do you do the Alvin and the Chipmunks music for them too, or?
We don't do that. Things that I have passed down. I mean, like a lot of our decorations and stuff are this out. Like they came from my mom has given me some of that stuff to kind of remind me. We do this thing on Halloween where we get that Halloween shaped jack-o'-lantern pizza before we go trick-or-treating. Like just certain things that they can rely on. Like, oh, it's this, we're going to do this.
Yeah. And do you think that's important for kids?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think that's important for kids to know, okay, I'm going to do a jack-o'-lantern pizza before I go trick-or-treating?
It's just something to look forward to. It's safe, I guess. And they seem to like it when we do something the same way. It's that predictability, just that comfort, I guess.
Like stability.
Sure, stability.
Yeah. It's like, I know this is coming, and and then it came, and then now it's like setting an expectation and meeting it, and knowing like, okay, things are going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? You feel good? Okay. So I have come to a conclusion. Okay. And I know that you have you had an idea of your best fit type before, and I think I remember what it was.
Okay.
And if I remember what it was, I have a slight tweak to it.
Okay, good.
Just a slight one. Okay. What I'm seeing, and remember, I do want to make something very clear. The philosophy here is, at the end of the day, you get to determine your best fit type. Okay. So if anything I say does not resonate or gel, or like, you've lost it. That's fine. You get to decide that. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to tell you what I saw as we discussed. And as I said, we did kind of side door questions, right? It was like, it wasn't direct questions. So I'm kind of fishing and trying to get sort of your preferences and how you see life. Okay. So what I saw was preferences.